Give it up for Ben MacGougan!
Yeah, hello. Hi, I'm Ben. I'm from Westport. Some of you might know it. It's a small town on the west coast of the South Island, and it's not great. I'll give you an idea of what it's like. I once met a guy on a bus from Africa. We got talking about him and his life and where he was from, and he was telling me in his village there was legitimate threats in the forms of animals. There was lions and hippos and hyenas and stuff that they had to be wary of, and he told me that these animals are by no means the biggest threat to him and his people. The biggest threat were just roving gangs of raiders that would come in and wipe out a village and take everything they had. So what they did in his village is they pretended to be an AIDS sanctuary. They put up all of these signs and tents and things simply so they wouldn't get raided. And I'm listening to this thinking, this is extraordinary. And he goes, where are you from? And I go, oh, I'm from Westport. And he goes, oh, I have been there. It is a terrible place. It's very honest of him. I come down to here, beautiful venue, from Auckland. I did move to Auckland, the city, the big smoke. I know, to big smoke to pursue my dream of becoming a slut. Full credit to you sluts out there, it's harder than it looks. I wasn't particularly good at it. I wasn't very good at flirting. I'd go up to someone I fancy, I'd be like, hey. Sing, yeah! Permission to drop the bomb? Permission to drop the bomb? Airman, this is the president. Permission granted. Roger that. I hope our children can forgive us. Can I buy you a drink? Thank you. So not a lot of sex happened. I did have sex. Did sex things. Turns out I'm a squirter. Did sex things. Did sex adjacent things. Did cunnilingus. That's eating pussy if you're white trash. I didn't like it, though. It grosses me out. Fortunately, though, when I get grossed out, I go like this. One of those problems that sort of works itself out, you know. It's all right not having too much sex. It's fine. I don't know if you know this, but sex can be dangerous. It can cause children. And children, terrible people. Have you met one? Ugh. Rubbish. As I say, grew up in Westport, South Island, you know. The only thing you get bullied for at school is they call you gay, right? And it's like, I'm getting called gay by a bunch of virgins. Who gives a shit? And they'd call you other things other than gay, but it all just meant gay. Like, they'd call you pussy, but that just meant gay. And they needed to get creative for whatever reason. They felt this need to, like, combine words and you know, mix things up when they called you gay, you know. Maya Angelou once said that you can't run out of creativity. The more you use, the more you have. And the same is true of slurs. And for, I want to say, like a 6-month span, the most popular way to call another boy gay at my school was to call him a pussy fucker. I feel like most of you have identified the problem. These were not bright kids. But they had to come up with new, exciting ways to call you gay. I was in class once, right? Talking to my mate, and there were these two homophobes. they'd whisper to each other and they'd look over at us and they'd whisper to each other, look over at us, whisper to each other. One of them was definitely a homophobe. The other one seemed to revere gay people as a sort of mythological entity. So he wasn't so much homophobic as he was superstitious. But they'd whisper to each other, look over at us. And then one of them comes all the way across the classroom, right, over to us. This was an 11-year-old called Bruce, if you can even imagine such a thing. You can't just call a kid Bruce. Bruce is a title that you've got to earn. You've got to open up a landscaping business, then you can be called Bruce. You've got to fall for an email scam, then you can be called Bruce. You've got to harass a waitress, then you can be called Bruce. Do you ever do that? You ever eat a child with an old person name? You're like, oh, what's your name, little girl? Margaret? Fuck off. No, it's not. Shut the fuck up. What are you doing? Margaret, are you a ghost? Shut up. Bruce comes over to us, right? And he goes, stands there and he goes, looks at us and he goes, are you two interior decorators? I'd never heard the term interior decorator in my life. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know it was a job. I didn't know it had homophobic connotations. I knew I was being called gay because Bruce was talking to me. But that's all I knew. I figured it out from context eventually, and I go, no, Bruce, we don't have jobs. We're 11. And then Bruce goes, well, get a job, pussy fucker. And then he left. Yeah, no, kids are mean. I don't want kids myself. Some of you are looking at me going, I'm fine with that. That's fair. No, I don't want kids. It's interesting not wanting kids, though. You tell parents sometimes that you don't want kids, and occasionally the parents will try and, like, change your mind. They'll be like, oh, no, you don't understand, I feel it so strongly. I would die for my children. And I'm like, so what? I'd die for any child. Not because I want to, but because there's no way that shakes out where it's just like, all good. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no way I'm alive and a child is dead and I'm like, it was him or me, fuck him. It was a stressful environment, decisions were made. I like dinosaurs too, But it made me think, right? Because if you're a parent, you've got to be able to do whatever you can for your kid. You gotta be willing to die for them, willing to kill for them, perhaps. And it means that you've got to think, how many kids would you kill for your kid? Some of you are crunching the numbers in your head right now. You're thinking, you're doing your KD ratio in your head, your kid death ratio. I was curious about this, so I texted my mum. I texted her, hang on. I said, hey, Mum, if I was still a kid, how many kids would you kill to save my life? And my mum texts back one word. And I think she was sort of trying to be heartwarming and inspiring. She texts back one word, countless.
Yay for mums.
Now you say that. Can you imagine how many kids you'd have to kill to lose count? I bet everyone in this room can tell me how many kids you've killed. Just losing count seems crazy. And it's not that I necessarily doubt my mum's sincerity, but I do doubt her cardio. I don't think she's killing 300 kids. I think she's tucking herself out before that. As I say, from Westport. So I can't make fun of anybody for being from where you're from. I'm on the bottom of the totem pole there. I can't.
I'm from Murchison.
Yeah, that sucks too. Hokitika. Yeah. I think it's like the only one that I can think of is Picton. But for the most part, no, I can't make fun of anybody. I can't even make fun of Australians, Not that I want to, because they're all weirdly into it. If you go to enough comedy gigs, you notice this phenomenon where Australians will sit in the front and they'll draw attention to themselves. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm from Australia, roast me," you know. I'm like, no, it's weird when you want it. I'll roast their animals, though. I'll roast Australian animals. Australian animals are crazy, right? Everything can kill you. You'll be watching Australian nature documentaries and they'll be like, "Although only 3 centimetres long, this wibble-legged bottle frog is actually a black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. If she wanted to, she could tie me up into ribbons, lay her eggs in my carcass and use my body as a tasteful home/dojo. This Bimby bird has developed the unique defense of an AK-47. This tiny bat here, this tiny bat is just a real hard fucker. He doesn't give a shit. He'll have a go at anyone. You can hear him now. Yeah, get fucked, man. Do you wanna go, man? Do you wanna, is that where you wanna go, man? Is that what you want? Doesn't give a shit. He really does. He said Wu-Tang Clan. He doesn't even know what that means. But as I say, from Westport, and I've still got friends in the South Island. I've got a few friends. A friend of mine commented on a Facebook thing a while back. I need this. I'm not just bored. She commented on a thing. You know, they did the Disney remaking the old cartoons that they made, and they remade The Little Mermaid recently. And in the new Little Mermaid, Ariel, the titular Little Mermaid, is black. And my friend commented on the announcement of the actress playing Ariel. She said, "No, no, no. This doesn't make any sense. This isn't about race. Mermaids live at the bottom of the ocean. There's no way there'd be enough light for them to have melanin to be black." And then in all capitals, it's science. Now, it's not that she's a racist. It's just that she likes logical, scientific, realistic narratives and The Little Mermaid. It's not that she's a racist, it's just that light can't really filter down beyond about 200 metres below the surface of the water. We're assuming the film takes place in some kind of fictionalised Danish kingdom, which would put the setting in or around the north of the Baltic Sea, making the seafloor about 500 to 700 metres below the surface of the water. There's no way you're going to get the kind of UV build-up you need for a hominid species to produce enough melanin to have a noticeably darker pigment. It's not that she's a racist. And yeah, the film itself is quite well lit. We can see a lot of what's going on, despite the fact that it takes place in the darkness of the seafloor. But it's not that she's a racist. There's plenty of creatures that can produce an electric current that can power some kind of organic light source, a protuberance of some sort, or maybe everything's covered in a film of bioluminescent bacteria. It's not that she's a racist. And yeah, Ariel is a little mermaid, and that does go against our understanding of deep-sea life and the tendency for deep-sea life to grow quite rapidly and be larger than their cousins that live closer to the surface, a phenomenon commonly referred to as abyssal gigantism. But it's not that she's a racist. There's plenty of evidence to suggest that a more compact frame can help an organism deal with the pressures of deep-sea life. And yeah, there is a lobster that plays the drums. Thank you. Thank you. Wait, don't push that skip button. Do you want to know how I got all this shit? Scams. Yeah, you guessed it, it's scams. And you're going to fall for it. Because you're stupid. Because of all the scams you're going to be falling for, that's really going to free me up 365 for cranking it. Scams. You can't escape my scams. You can't get back here. Get back. Scams. Gotta get that scams. Scams! I'm going to give you a lot of sort of behind-the-scenes look at stand-up comedy now. I'm going to show you what a bit of where the magic comes from. Is sometimes on stage while performing, comics will just zone out. Just I assume you all know what zoning out is. I assume you all have jobs. Yeah, we just zone out. I'm zoned out right now. It's great. I love zoning out. I think I spend like 80% of my life zoned out. I zone out all the time. I zone out like that. I'll zone out of my own murder trial. I don't give a shit. Yeah. And you know, I'll zone out like 10 words into a conversation I don't care about. Boring conversation, you know. Someone's telling me about, you know, oh, a coworker said something to you. Well, I don't care about that. Bye. Bull. I'll zone out like, yeah, easy zone out. And you don't want me zoned in. You think you do if you're giving me a boring convo. But you don't want me zoned in, because if I'm zoned in, I'm going to have to make my own fun. I'm going to have to play. And you're going to be talking about something I don't care about. You're telling me about your sister's boyfriend or something. I don't care about that. So I'm gonna be like, oh, really? Is that what he said? 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 That's really interesting. That's fascinating. Interesting. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Interesting. What animals' cum do you think tastes the best? It's hedgehog. Anyway, as I say, from Westport, and
They have a lot of hedgehogs then.
yeah, they do. From Westport, and I was raised Catholic. Anyone raised Catholic here? Yeah. Cool. Don't worry, I'm not going to have a go at religion. I don't. A lot of comics I like have a bit of a go at religion. I don't really do that. I don't have a problem with anyone's spiritual beliefs, apart from agnostics. Fucking hate them. I don't know. Maybe there's a God. I don't know. Pick a side. And it's hard to hate agnostics. I'll grant you, it is hard because they don't do a lot of evil shit. You know, you don't get a lot of agnostic extremists. You know, people that are like, I'm unsure about the existence of God. But I'm really unsure. I've got radical doubt. And I'm going to prove it with a murder. Let's do an agnostic beheading. Time to meet your maker, maybe. Now, I said I wasn't going to make fun of religion. And that was a lie. I am going to do it. Because, catch this, because I'm an asshole. Who wants to hear about why I hate Jesus? Okay. Bear with me. There's a bit of backstory to this, right? It's the Last Supper. Jesus is there, 12 apostles are there. And Jesus says at one point, he says, one of you is going to betray me. And one by one, the apostles go up to Christ and they say, surely you don't mean me, my Lord. Until it's just Judas left. Jesus turns them down one by one. He says, no, not you. Just Judas left. And then Judas approaches Jesus and he says, surely you don't mean me, Rabbi. He calls him Rabbi instead of my Lord for a reason that's quite interesting, but this isn't a fucking TED Talk. He goes, surely you don't mean me, Rabbi. And Jesus says, you have said it. In the Gospel of John, there's a slightly different story where Jesus is there with the 12 apostles and he says, I'm not going to say who's going to do it. I'm just going to dip my bread in the bowl and give my bread to the person who's going to do it. He dips his bread in the bowl and he gives it to Judas. What a cunt. What a okay, let me make my case, all right. So they're all out on the town. Jesus is in a huff, right? He's sulking, ruining a perfectly good night out on the piss, right? They're just trying to have a good time, which must have pissed off the bar staff, to be fair, you know. Every now and again, one of them goes up and goes, 13 waters, please. Jesus is there. Eventually he goes, one of you is going to betray me. And one by one, he makes them go out one by one. Doesn't tell them, just makes them go out one by one until it's just Judas left, right? Judas must have been like, okay, so you think it's me then? I didn't say that. Well, you said no to everyone else. I'm the last one left. You obviously think it's me. Did I say it was you? I didn't say it was you. I never said that. Okay, do you think it's me then? You said it. Oh. And then in the other story, he gives them bread, right? Gives them bread. Oh, I'm not going to say who's going to do it. I'm just going to give bread to who's going to do it. Judas, do you want some bread? What the? And he gives them bread. You wouldn't accept bread if Jesus gave you bread. You wouldn't accept bread from a guy who thinks he's bread. There's no way. A guy, he's like, a bit of toast, mate. Oh, you're like, oh, thanks very much. That's lovely. That's actually my flesh. That's my body. Oh, it's going straight in the rubbish. Thank you. We're not doing this. You've bloody chopped your toenails off and put it in the toast or something. We're not doing this. I love it when he starts telling people he's bread. It's my favourite part of the Bible, right? He's got this big crowd of people he's going to tell outside. Big crowd, 12 apostles there, a bunch of other guys. And he's going to tell them he's bread, right? Imagine how nervous you'd be. You've thought you were a dinner roll your whole life. And you've never told a soul. Now you're going to tell this big group of people that if you buy 2 pizzas, you get a free garlic you. He struts out there. And he goes, I'm bread. And the crowd just leaves. It's funny. They're just like, nah, sorry. Nah, there's no way you're a Vogels, mate. Nah. And they leave. And then he turns to the apostles, right? And he goes, are you guys going to leave too? And what do you say? You've just watched this guy have the most embarrassing moment of his career, He just told them he's Vogels and they left. Told him he's bread. He'd go, yeah, sure, man. You can be bread if you want. Maybe don't say it so loud, but you can be bread. And then he switches on him like this, right? Lowest moment of his career. And then he goes, have I not chosen you, the 12? But one of you is a devil. What? Just like that, right? Lowest moment. Do you guys think I'm bread? Yeah, man, you're bread. Hey, I love you guys, except for one of yous. I fucking hate one of yous. Ciabatta, I don't think Judas was going to do it. I think Judas saw that, all of this, and was like, I'm going to kill this guy. And if you like Jesus, I apologise. I don't, if I'm roasting you guy, but you have to understand, raised Catholic, as I say, right? And we did grace every day before lunch. And at my school, we did grace in the form of a rap. Do you want to hear the rap? Yes. Do you want to hear what rap sounds like when it's made up by Catholic nuns in rural New Zealand? This is a real thing. It's spread around to a lot of schools. So if you know the words, do join in. But if you don't know the words, you can all join in the physical component, which is where we click our fingers in the sign of the cross. Everyone have a go on that. Yeah. Doesn't that feel good? Doesn't that feel vaguely sacrilegious? Doesn't that feel like it's somehow an insult to both Catholicism and hip-hop? Here's how it goes. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. He's the one we love the most. He's cool, he's hip, he's quite a dude. We thank him for our daily food. So the next time when you make a toast to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know why I became an atheist either. So you might be wondering why I don't wear shoes. That's the end of the show. Thank you so much, everybody. You've been a great crowd. Cheers. Bye-bye. Thank you.